You know, Pakistan
Akshita.
can learn a thing or two. They talk of high alert. What we did is a state of high alert, Gaurav. What Sandeep tells us, across 2,000 kilometers, multiple provocations, drones, missiles being used by Pakistan, all of that thwarted. And then we've hit back, and how?
You know, India's air defense system is actually second to none. The manner in which India has actually integrated assets both on ground, in the air, and the satellites, it's actually seamless integration. The fact that you're also able to use your platforms either you use your AWACS or you use the P-8Is. The P-8I is actually a long-range maritime reconnaissance aircraft that is used by the Indian Navy on sea for long ranges, but it's only the Indian Armed Forces, even at the time of Galwan, they were able to use it over land, and to amazing effect, and to integrate all these features. Also keep in mind, after Operation Swift Retort, India was not only prepared for Swift Retort, India was also prepared, and from Swift Retort, India realized that Pakistan uses a much larger package to respond. And this time, India had wargamed, from what sources are telling India today, that they had wargamed a response not just restricted opposite Pakistan's Punjab province, but even in Sindh and even in Jammu and Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Not only was India prepared, India was in a position to impose costs on Pakistan and impose heavier costs on Pakistan. But since there were specific instructions from the Narendra Modi government, only those targets were neutralized that were involved in this operation, including taking down the MQ-9 battery. And there was a very specific reason why the air defense system of Pakistan has been neutralized, not just in Lahore, as the army is officially stating, but from what sources are telling India today, in a couple of other places too.
No, but why do you think that is, Gaurav? Why do you think we've targeted their missile defense systems in Lahore?
When you look at operations, you always wargame the threat matrix and the escalation of conflict. How will Pakistan escalate this? Because Pakistan's response is never proportionate. Their attempt is disproportionate, and they always realize that India is prepared to do worse in case the situation escalates. So what would Pakistan then anticipate? That India would come back with its aircraft or more, and that's the situation that they would want to ensure that Pakistan's air defenses are neutralized should India want to go in again. The fact that it's been neutralized across a spectrum, which means Pakistan will be blind to the threat that's coming in, or it will have to use other means, which includes its fighter jets. They will have to scramble their AWACS. The Saab 2000s will have to be up in the air much longer. And in this battle of attrition, it's likely to last very long. In this battle of attrition, the more resources Pakistan uses, the lesser are the chances of its replenishment. So this is a war which is one multi-domain operations, and it's at various levels. So you also ensure that the enemy is weakened at more levels than one.
You know, the message from India is very clear. That Pakistan has no reason to worry. The Pakistan army has no reason to worry as long as you don't try to hit us. In which case, there will be a response. And the communication that's coming from the government, from the Ministry of Defense, is headlined exactly that. It says proportionate response by India. And that's the messaging here. You try to attack our military installments, we'll hit you back. You try to target our civilians along the border, we will ensure appropriate response along the border as well. We've responded to their mortar and artillery firing as well. You try to, of course, target our civilians with terrorists, terror camps also will be blown up. So India is very clear that you take the first step, then we'll take 5 steps ahead of you. You cannot afford to go ahead and target our military installations, which is why cutting across 15 areas, there were attempts by Pakistan to target our military installations. All of that thwarted, and this was neutralized. As per the statement, the Ministry of Defense has said that these attempts to engage a number of military targets were neutralized by the integrated counter-UAS grid and air defense systems. The debris of these attacks is now being recovered from a number of locations that prove the Pakistani attacks. There were pictures that came in from Amritsar that did seem to suggest that, you know, there was missile debris. And while we didn't, of course, jump to any conclusions of where it came from, it was clear that it was from Pakistan, thwarted, of course, by our air defense system. And I just want to put the focus, Gaurav, if you can also explain that to us. The integrated counter-UAS grid and air defense system, how this has actually helped in ensuring India, across the 2,000 kilometer space of 15 towns being targeted, ensured not one missile managed to hit us.
So India has a very large border with Pakistan. India has a very large maritime border, and to protect your borders, you need to be able to look on the other side of the hill, metaphorically. So, once you're forewarned, you're forearmed. How do you do that? You need to have a system of radars in place, and just the ground radars, often they can be jammed. So you have multiple levels of radars on ground, aircraft in the air, unmanned aerial vehicles, satellites, and India has just tested the stratospheric airship platform, which is like a blimp at an altitude of 55,000 feet, 17 kilometers to 20 kilometers, that can stay up in the air for a week or two. While that's been tested, it can quickly, and especially in a no war, no peace situation or a conflict situation, it can quickly be deployed to keep an eye over a very large area for a sustained period of time. Aircraft have to come down, UAVs have to come down and refuel, but this blimp can stay up longer, satellites stay up longer. But all of this is integrated for the commanders to form a bigger picture, all the way from Gujarat to Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh on ground, and of course at sea. So various assets are used simultaneously for that bigger picture to emerge.
And just compare the two for a second, if you will. Operation Sindoor, where we sent across drones, missiles, hit exactly the targets we wanted. Pakistan failed completely to stop that bid. Compare that to Pakistan attempting to fire drones and missiles across a 2,000-kilometer space. Every single one of them stopped by India. And then a proportionate response by India, again which Pakistan didn't see coming, couldn't stop. 15 points last night were targeted by Pakistan, all of them thwarted by our alert forces using the air defense system that Gaurav just explained for you. One of those was in Amritsar. Asim Basi is joining us live from there. Asim, you've been reporting, showing us that missile debris. It's been confirmed that that was an attempt by Pakistan to target military installations.
Well, last night around 1:30 a.m. there was total blackout in Amritsar, and there were talks that there have been sounds have been heard, explosions have been heard. We are in a Makhan Windy village where a Pakistani missile attempted to hit, but through the Indian air defense system, it was shot down, and its debris has fallen here. You can see, we showed in the morning the visuals from very close, but now the army has cordoned off the area, and the army is in a procedure to basically defuse this the debris of this Pakistani missile. So Pakistan made an attempt to attack Indian establishments, but as the air defense system of India was very strong, all the drones and the missiles of the Pakistan were put down, and we saw then in village Jethuwal also the debris of Pakistani missiles were found. In this Makhan Windy village also, the debris of Pakistani missiles were found, and in village Pandair also. So in Amritsar only 3 locations the Pakistan made an attempt, but all were put down by the Indian alert troops.
Very significant, Asim, what you point out, the manner in which India has responded to Pakistan's grave escalation. In the past 24 hours, there's been massive escalation by Pakistan when it comes to the India-Pakistan situation, when Pakistani drones and missiles attempted to target 15 Indian cities, all the way from Avantipura in Jammu and Kashmir down to Bhuj in Gujarat, through Rajasthan, through Punjab. Amritsar was where debris and shrapnel have been found, but they've also been located in multiple other locations.